Good morning. It is Saturday, therefore it is time for another Holmgang, where we take stuff that doesn't belong to us, because those are the rules. For those of you who don't get that joke, go watch Norseman on Netflix. It's really freaking funny. And today we're going to be talking about a whole lot of nothing, maybe do a couple of, Spinal Tap quotes, because we got two people in here who really love the movie. Let me introduce you to my wonderful panel this morning. We have with us, as always, is Matt Vader, 74, the barbarian space Viking himself.
What's up?
We have Danny, the dork knight, coming from his office.
Hello.
We have my lovely lady friend Juju in her sound booth, and of course our special guest hanging out today, Tom Connors Jr. from Midnight's Edge. How you doing, buddy?
I was the one who's guilty of doing the Spinal Tap quotes. I admit it.
You and Jude, we could just do an hour just doing Spinal Tap quotes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. You got to quit introducing Jude to cool people, because she's just going to dump your ass someday.
It's his special lady friend.
I want to have a harem of men, so I'm not going to dump his ass. I'm just going to come back.
You also assume there are people cooler than me out there. So.
Yeah, a harem of dorks.
But the big question is, are we going to do Stonehenge?
All right, so as you guys know, Holmgang doesn't have any real structure to it. We don't have topics we're going to talk about. In fact, most of our stuff is going to come from the chat. So if you're in the chat, feel free to ask us questions. We'll be pulling you guys up. We'll be talking with you. But other than that, I wanted to start off, Vader, you had a really interesting story about Nicolas Cage, who is a Las Vegas local. And apparently he likes to get kicked out of places a lot. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
Well, I don't know a ton about it, other than I just saw on the news the other night that Nicolas Cage, Mr. Vegas himself, was at one of our fancy steak restaurants, lounging around in the bar in his robe and his flip-flops. And he got really belligerent and got really kicked out. And it made the news. And, you know, that's why we love Nick Cage, right? Because that's the kind of shit this dude does. He doesn't care. He's Nicolas Cage. He'll go where he wants. He'll drink what he wants, and he'll get kicked out of wherever he wants. And we love him for that. So yeah.
He's our Las Vegas Viking. He does what he wants. He takes what he wants. He can do what he wants.
Like, do you know who I am? I'm Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. He's never once had to say, "Do you know who I am?" You know.
That's right.
He's more of a pleasure protector.
I'm going to go marry somebody again today. I'm going to go to the casino and find a new bride. Yeah, that's what he does.
Maybe he was doing some research. Maybe he's playing the dude in the Big Lebowski prequel.
Could be. You never know.
Well, it's just like your opinion, man.
Could be, but
he's kind of
out of my element.
He's kind of had a career resurgence lately. Like Pig has really kind of put him back on the map for doing serious movies. Jude, what's that new movie that he's coming out with?
Prisoners of the Ghostland?
Yeah, Prisoners of the Ghostland. That looks really good. Willy's Wonderland was freaking fantastic.
Well, I mean, when you do more, when you pretty much have to say yes to every movie, and you do more movies in a year than there are hours in a day, it's kind of like a broken clock. Sooner or later, you're going to get a hit, right? Like, it's just inevitable.
Has he paid his taxes back yet?
No, he still has outstanding tax bills, but he moved to Vegas. Excuse me. He moved to Vegas because of the tax here in Nevada, where he was able to save more money than he was living in LA to pay the tax man. That's why he's a Las Vegas resident. He's still got that massive tax bill that he's been paying off. But it seems like instead of just doing any movie that's put in front of him like he was doing back when he first needed to start paying the tax man, he seems to be taking on more interesting projects now than he used to be. So it feels like he's kind of like, if I have to slum it, I'm going to at least slum it by doing stuff that intrigues me.
There's a quote in the article that I was looking at. I'm going to read it really quick because it kind of sums it up. It says, quoting an anonymous source, The Sun reported, "We were at that bar at Lowry's when we noticed what we first thought was a homeless man, completely drunk and being rowdy. To our shock, it turned out to be Nicolas Cage. He was completely smashed and was getting into a bit of a fight with his staff." So yeah, that's our Nicolas Cage. I love that.
What a guy.
Homeless guy at the bar. That's awesome.
I wonder if he was just like, if he didn't shave his pig beard, because he looked homeless in that movie.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a video out there that I have not seen, but I heard it's out there.
Jude, we watched Pig recently. What did you think of that?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic and really different for going in. I thought it was going to be like a weird Nicolas Cage movie, and it was, but the story behind it was so moving that I cried. You fell asleep, but I thought it was great.
Well, the trailer made it look like a John Wick, but instead of a dog, it's a pig. But it wasn't really like there was no action in it. I mean, Nicolas Cage gets his ass beat in one scene, but
a lot.
For the most part, it's kind of like just this very kind of slow, like kind of contemplative movie.
It was basically about like when you have nothing, what do you hold on to that keeps you going through life? And he had this one thing and it was taken from him. And so what do you do? And I don't want to spoil it in case anybody wants to watch it, but I thought the story was really good.
Yeah, the video.
It was a pretty interesting movie.
Video.
Yeah, Tom, what is it we're watching here?
This is the video from the other night, I guess.
Oh, yay!
It's only like 49 seconds here. He don't look too rowdy though.
He doesn't.
He doesn't look homeless either.
No. Looks like Steven Tyler.
Look, he doesn't have his shoes
Oh,
on.
man. I love
Look at those
those
leopard print pants.
Those pajamas.
Yeah, he's just barefoot.
He's smashed.
No mask.
He's
about to get kicked out of Larry's in Las Vegas.
Here's your shoes, sir.
They're just sandals.
It shows you.
Oh yeah, he's drunk.
Oh my God.
Nicolas Cage.
Can you imagine kicking Nicolas Cage out of your
I
establishment?
mean, he's not really
That's-
being overly
that's
aggressive or
crazy.
anything. I mean,
Well,
they're
we
cutting
didn't-
through the video, but
We
still.
didn't get to see the part before that for sure.
True,
That's
but
funny.
I mean, I've seen a lot worse.
Listen, at the casino I work at, we kick that same dude out 3 times a day. No joke. No joke.
The Jinja Ninja says, I want to know where he got those tights. Me
I know.
too.
Yeah, me too.
He was rocking those.
I mean, how could you not tell that was Nicolas Cage though? Because didn't one of the quotes say they couldn't even tell it was him at first?
I don't know. Some people don't.
Shame on
aren't as
them.
big fans. I know, right?
Yeah.
For sure. I keep going to this little sandwich shop up on the other side of town that I hear he frequents, just in hopes that I'm going to run into the dude someday.
Joker Voice says he's been kicked out of strip clubs numerous times.
Yeah.
Well, who hasn't?
I can see Matt getting into an adventure like a movie. He meets up with Nicolas Cage, and then Nicolas Cage becomes his brand new best
You're
friend.
Nicolas Cage.
And then but he gets him into some really rough shit. And
Yeah.
sorry, I should watch more.
No, that sounds like something.
No, we get like a briefcase full of cocaine and like
Yeah.
a cross-country trip. Yeah.
Hookers.
I need you to help me deliver this.
This is my last payoff for the tax man, so I
The
can start doing
CIA's
good
on my
movies again.
ass, though.
Dude, write that down. That's some good shit right there.
Black helicopters are following us around.
We
You're
can't
my
let
new
Nicolas.
best friend.
We can't let Nicolas Cage make his last tax payment because then he'll stop making movies.
Like he hires me to be his biographer, and I just go on all these crazy adventures with him.
That's it. The CIA won't let him make his last payment because they don't want to let him stop making movies, right?
That's it.
That's my
and
plan.
there's a
I'm planning to
conspiracy.
retire. I'm planning to retire, and they
No.
won't let me.
Well, he recently came out and said he's never retiring.
Yeah.
And I think Twitter made a joke about like that's because he still owes money. Yeah, his huge tax bill unfortunately keeps hanging over his head.
Do you get like a tax write-off exceptions for being married? So why he goes and keeps finding these weird wives in the casinos?
If he was smart, he'd be marrying into money.
Yeah.
That or having a bunch of kids. I know there's tax credits for kids and stuff, right?
He has several kids.
Yeah, but they got to be pretty old by now, don't they?
Well, there's
Yeah.
LL.
Yeah, how old is he now? He's got to be almost 20.
Yeah, he's got to be in his
Really?
20s, I think.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
thought he
kids
was-
cost way more than the tax write-off you get for them. That's for sure.
Right. Hmm.
That's true.
But didn't he shouldn't he be just doing like Gone in 60-second movies like constantly? Just to
Yeah,
pay
I'm
off-
surprised we didn't get a bunch of Ghost Rider movies out of him or
Yeah.
something.
No, he's going to get as weird as he possibly can, for sure.
Andre Enrico says anyone who had to sell their comic book collection, which includes Action Comics #1, would look like this. Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
selling the first appearance of Superman, knowing how much of a fan Nicolas Cage was of Superman, that had to hurt. That really had to hurt. But you know, it's kind of funny because like I remember when all this went down, like he was just spending money like it was nothing. He was buying castles, he was buying like expensive pieces of art, and you know, his manager just kept telling him, "Was like, dude, you have to slow down the spending." He's like, "Ah, whatever."
Well, that's a typical Hollywood story, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, like there are examples, like for instance, Johnny Depp, who was a little bit irresponsible with his spending.
Will Smith.
But in those cases, it's usually the people who manage the money kind of like fleecing them. With Nicolas Cage, it was just reckless spending. Like he just had no concept of money. And you know, when you get to a certain level in Hollywood where you're like this A-list actor, just your entourage, the business of being you, costs a lot of money to maintain. Like you have personal assistants, you have, you know, drivers, you have security, you have like a little ecosystem that revolves all around you, and you have to pay for that. And it can be really expensive depending on how famous you are. So that's on top of like all the stuff that he was buying, just like, you know, multi-million-dollar properties.
A pyramid in New Orleans to bury himself in.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he fired his handler or lost one, and that's why he got lost.
well, no.
I think
like
he probably just didn't listen to anyone.
Well, when the IRS
I
came
meant the
after
other
him,
night. Yeah.
when the IRS came after him, he sued his financial managers, and they were like, "Dude, we were just doing what you told us. Like, we don't have control over your money. Like, that's you." Mm-hmm. So,
well, we see this more with musicians, I guess I should say, and that's one of the reasons why I brought up Will Smith, because a lot of times they get a big lump sum from the record company. They don't realize it's basically a loan, so they go and spend it, and then when they're like, "Well, where's my money for my album?" It's like, you already got paid. Yeah. And they're like, what? And then, like you said, there's all the overhead costs and stuff too that they take right off the top.
Tom, you need to be quiet about the Ghost Rider films.
I will. It's been long enough, I don't think, and he's already been recast. I don't think there's any chance.
Yeah. Well, you know, like that was kind of like his consolation prize for not being able to play Superman. He wanted to play like a superhero, and Ghost Rider was the first thing that kind of came his way that he kind of latched on.
Well, there was that rumor that Warner wanted him to show up in a cameo for the Flash movie. Although I'm like, that is some major meta stuff that you'd have to explain to the audience that half of them wouldn't get.
Jude.
Yes.
The chat loves how you have your own coffee pot.
I know. I was just about to respond, but thank you. I'm very fancy.
She is very fancy. What kind? You gonna need like weird like witches stuff in there, like, you know, some kelp and some Eye of Newt and shit. Yeah, I knew you're gonna have something in there.
Some essential oils. So I want to tell a funny story about Jude and my relationship.
Is this the coffee pot story?
Yes, this is a coffee pot story. So when we first started dating, it was very clear that Jude was a big coffee fanatic. She loved coffee, and she had this big coffee maker that would make like, you know, 20 gallons of coffee in the morning. And when she moved in with me, you know, the coffee maker made the migration over to my place. And I learned to make coffee in the morning for my lovely lady friend down here, so that when she woke up and before she had to go to work, you know, she'd have a fresh pot of coffee. And eventually this coffee maker broke. And she was very distraught over it because it was her favorite coffee maker. And so I went out, I spent like $250 on this like super fancy coffee maker to replace it. And it was one of those things where you could do like the single serving, but you could also do the big pot. And there was like all this like bells and whistles to it. And about 4 weeks after we bought it, it broke. And so I shipped it back to the manufacturer to have it fixed. And they said, it's going to take like 6 to 8 weeks. And Jude's like, I can't go 6 to 8 weeks without coffee. And I'm like, and I just spent all this money on this coffee maker. So I'm going to go, I went down to Target and I bought these little, what are they called, babe?
French press.
French presses. Because, you know, like, you know, we've all had French press stuff before. And I was like, we'll just use this as like a stopgap because it was like $30. And the first time Jude used one of these things, Jude, you want to explain your reaction?
Well, I'd never used one before. So I was like, this looks like something you would use while you're camping. And the first time I used it, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I was like, I only want this from now on. I don't want that coffee maker back. And I think it broke Kadish's spirit a little bit because he was very proud of this gift that he bought me. He was like, this is the best fucking gift of her whole life. And he was very proud of himself. And then eventually I was just like, oh, I really like this little $20 thing better. So we ended up giving it away.
Yeah, we got the $250 coffee maker back. She never used it, and so we just gave it away to a friend. So all that money out the window. But I'm glad that I found something that she enjoyed.
Yeah. That reminds me of, because I like cold brew coffee, right? We're having coffee talk, guys. Literal coffee talk.
I'm gonna get comfy.
And there's all these fancy cold brew coffee machines. So basically, you just mix cold water and coffee and let it sit overnight. And the best way to make cold brew coffee is to get a 32-ounce mason jar and put a cup of coffee grounds in it and water and let it sit in your refrigerator. That's all there is to it. But there's all these machines out there that are like $100 or more on Amazon and stuff to make cold brew coffee. You know, just you don't need to do any of that stuff. Go buy a $5 jar and some filters. You're good.
Yeah.
So,
Andre Enrico says Ghost Rider 1 is good. Completely disagree with that one. Let's see here. I want a remake of number 2, but better than before, more cheesy. I think it's best.
I could be on board with that.
Ghost Rider. Smoking Wraith says Ghost Rider and the Fox Fantastic Four movies are great. A lot of laughing till it hurts, pure entertainment. That's one way to look at them. They are pretty bad, but I'd like to see a good Fantastic Four movie. You know.
So, my son here. Hold up. My son and I, my oldest son, we went and saw the Fantastic Four, the original one, or not the original one, but the one with Johan Gruffett and Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
It holds the record. We saw that movie like 14 times in the theater because growing up, So when he was young, we lived out in a place called Tarkington, Texas, which was out in the sticks. I mean, you had to drive like 30, 40 minutes just to get to like a Walmart, and there were no comic book stores out there. So I let him subscribe to I told him he could pick one title, and this is like, remember, he's like, this is like starting from kindergarten until about like 4th grade. I was like, you can pick one comic that you can subscribe to, and we'll have it mailed directly to the house. And he picked Fantastic Four. He's a huge Fantastic Four fan. So when that movie came out, it was just such a big deal to him. So as a father, looking back, I haven't watched those movies in forever, so I don't think I'd like them now. But at the time, he was just so excited. I was just like, what do you want to do, buddy? Let's go see Fantastic Four again. So he loved that movie.
So Joker Voice says Nick Cage is horrible. His only good role was Leaving Las Vegas. Ironically, he plays a horrible actor who is a raging alcoholic. He plays himself. I kind of disagree with that.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
I don't think Nicolas Cage is horrible. In fact, he actually tends to elevate the movies he's in because he always kind of hams it up. Do you guys remember when we watched Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
It was a terrible movie, but every time Nicolas Cage was on screen, he was doing Dennis Hopper from Apocalypse Now, and we were just like, "This is brilliant." I wish the whole movie was this.
I was just gonna say there's a comment, Raising Arizona Man. I was just about to say, have you seen Raising Arizona? He's fantastic in it.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic in a lot of movies that he's done. I mean, they're not all winners, but I wouldn't say he's horrible.
Not at all. Joker, you take that back.
Richie Duke says, I use a jug to make coffee, add hot water and coffee, leave for 10 minutes. That's basically what a French press is.
Yeah.
You can filter out the coffee grounds at the end. Smoking Wraith, exactly. He plays Cage, Con Air.
I feel a Nick Cage week coming up.
Another one?
I'm down.
We already did one.
We should just do all his new shit.
Nicolas Cage and Jean-Claude Van Damme every week. So, yeah.
Smoking Wraith says they can't make a good Fantastic Four movie with all the box-checking rules. That's why the others are all we're getting. I don't know, maybe.
There's a Fantastic Four coming out, isn't there? They've already announced it.
Well, they have it in the queue. They haven't cast anyone. I don't think they have any development on it, really. But I know that after the Fan Four Stick with the race swapping of Johnny Storm, Marvel might be a little bit more hesitant to do that.
Are you sure? I bet you they'll race swap the entire cast this time.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anything. But
I feel fortunate. I've never seen that movie, and I should keep it that way, right? From what I've heard.
Oh, it's trash. It's a waste of 2 hours.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But the
I apologize for nothing.
The sad part is the best Fantastic Four movie we have to date is the Corman one.
The Roger Corman one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
the closest to the comics.
Yeah, the most faithful to the comics. I know that there's a lot of fan, kind of advocacy for John Krasinski and his wife. What's her name?
I've seen a lot of fan art with them in it. Yeah.
Who's the girl from Emily Blunt?
Emily Blunt.
Yeah, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to be Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic. So I would love to see that come to fruition. I think they'd be great in those roles. It'd be funny if they brought Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm.
I was just gonna say that. I would actually love that because I thought he was a great Johnny Storm. He was great.
I gotta give a shout out to Jinja Ninja because Adaptation is probably one of the best Nicolas Cage movies ever. It's a Lloyd Kaufman movie where it's very meta. It's about a screenwriter that Nicolas Cage plays adapting a screenplay that kind of plays out in real life. It's awesome. Like if you haven't seen it and you're a Nicolas Cage fan, you have to see that movie. Richie Dupe says, I broke my French press. Oh no.
That's no good.
You need more French presses.
Jude has like
3.
20 of them. Yeah.
No, I have 3. I used to have 5, but then I gave some to people who didn't have any.
Sometimes we'll go over to do the show over at your house, Matt, and Jude will just have our own personal French presses sitting in front of our seats.
Zax is in the house. Hey,
I want you to feel fancy too, Vader.
Mm-hmm. You always make me feel fancy, Jude.
Yeah.
How did I know Roger Corman reference would make it in today? It only took 20 minutes. Well, Jude is on the stream, so she loves her Roger Corman.
I made the reference.
I'll still never forgive you for making me watch that one Roger Corman movie. But
Battle Beyond the Stars?
Oh my God, that was terrible. Yeah.
What?
You're welcome.
Awful movie.
Awful. Yeah.
Hey,
Vader and I agree on that one.
That's the movie that brought us James Cameron. How dare you?
I'm at loss for words here.
I know we disagree with Kadish on a lot. I think he's still mad at me for shitting on his boy last week.
On Bruce Campbell.
On Bruce Campbell, yeah.
How can you shit on Bruce Campbell?
You don't
blasphemy.
Yeah, you don't like Bruce Campbell. You don't like the movie Clue.
I know. I'm a terrible movie.
Well, Vader hates most things. It's his defining characteristic.
Within arm's reach. I'm a huge Bruce
That's
Campbell
cool.
I just got the NECA one the other day.
I got this guy here too.
Charlie Kaufman. Thank you, Zax. Yes, that's the one. Charlie Kaufman.
I mean, of all of his movies, I like those the most, Danny. So yeah.
They actually made a Bubba Hotep comic, and I have it but I'm not going to grab it. It's in the garage, but it's like a sequel to the movie, but in comic book form. It's glorious. It's I don't know. Did you like that movie, Vader? I got to watch that video. I haven't watched that. You just dropped that yesterday, right?
Which one?
Yeah.
The Bruce Campbell video?
Yeah, it came out on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. So
did you like Bubba Hotep, Vader?
No.
No, I did not.
He hated Bubba Hotep. He hated all the Bruce Campbell movies we watched.
What were the Bruce Campbell movies you watched?
So the first one was Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat. The second one was Assault on Dome 4, and the third one was Bubba Hotep. And those were not my first picks, except for Bubba Hotep. But we had a hard time actually finding streaming services that actually showed Bruce Campbell movies. So
what about My Name is Bruce would have been one I would have recommended.
So
well, we tried to get that one, but it's not available anywhere.
I have a theory that I don't like a lot of the movies we watch because I have to sit at home by myself and watch them in the morning most of the time. If I was sitting in Jude Matt's living room with a couple beers and just hanging out with my buddies, I would probably like these movies a little bit more.
I think that's why we have so much more.
You know what I mean? But my schedule just doesn't allow me to do that.
No, I can agree. Like, are you like? I feel like I watch a lot of them, like on my phone. Unfortunately, like
I won't watch TV or movies on my phone. That's
really
completely besides.
Well, I think that's why we have so much more fun talking about them on the podcast because we are all together and we are all having a couple of beers, and it makes it more fun, rather than a chore to just sit there and watch something by yourself.
Right.
And it's fun for me to be a grumpy ass at the show too, you know. So
well, it is called
everybody
the
loves your
Salty
grumpy
Nerd.
ass.
It's the salty nerd podcast, not the
That's right.
cheerful nerd podcast.
Keely Chow says, speaking of Roger Corman, if you're thinking about rebooting Black Scorpion, whatever you do, don't go to Greg Berlanti, Caroline Dries, and the CW.
What?
Just avoid the CW in general. Isn't Black Scorpion, isn't that the one that Alex's girlfriend was on? The lady from the Star Trek convention? You remember who I'm talking about, Vader?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't honestly know. I don't. So,
Andre Enrico says the best adaptation of Fantastic Four is still Hanna-Barbera's 1967 animated series.
Not horribly
I've
wrong.
never seen it.
I have
either.
a Blu-ray. It's only got like 4 episodes, or not a Blu-ray, a DVD from that in my living room. And whenever I meet up with you guys, I got Cowboy Bebop for Vader, and I got that one for you if you want to.
My recollection is the 90s series wasn't too bad either.
He is Vader for a reason, fueled by hate.
let it flow,
Amen.
baby.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Better out than in.
That's right. Athena Massey, right? That's
Athena Massey, that's the
Yes.
one, yes.
Yeah.
Andre Enrico says one of Campbell's best recent ones is the Jack of All Trades series produced by Sam Raimi. Yeah, that was a spinoff of Hercules.
I actually really liked him in Burn Notice. Did you guys ever watch that?
Oh, that's
Well,
one of
Alex
Alex's
liked
favorite.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that show. So
I think he was better in Briscoe County Jr. That was
Oh,
my
that's-
favorite.
that's another good one. Yeah,
I want to know what
I
Tom's
have that
favorite
series
movie is.
also. It's terrible.
What'd you say,
Favorite Bruce
Vader?
Campbell?
I want to know what Tom's favorite Bruce Campbell movie is.
Boy, that's a tough one.
I can spit mine out like that. Come on.
Probably Army of Darkness.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's the best one. That's what I was going to say.
I would say in terms of fun, Evil Dead 2 is
Oh,
the
that's
best.
fine. Babe.
In terms of performance, Bubba Hotep. Hands
Right,
down.
like that's a tough thing. You got to kind of like, okay, out of the Evil Deads, there's so many, and then there's other movies that he's in that he's not the star that he's
Yeah.
great in, but
Right.
you
I mean,
know.
if you're going to go there, he's great in Spider-Man 2 as the obnoxious doorman.
Well, he's great in everything he does.
Everything. Yeah.
yeah.
But the thing is like you in terms of like his filmography, like the performances he's delivered as an actor, Bubba Hotep hands down.
Yeah, as
It's
far
his
as like
best
the
performance.
Well, I
performance.
just saw him in an older movie I didn't even know he was in called Sundown.
Oh yeah, that was
yeah,
one
we
that we just
reviewed
reviewed.
that.
Yeah. And he's hilarious in that, playing like the descendant
A
of Van
virgin?
Helsing or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a virgin on top of it. Yeah.
yeah.
It's totally against character for him. It was
Right?
really
But
different.
But I actually think in terms of like just like pure enjoyment of watching Bruce Campbell on screen, that the Ash versus Evil Dead series kind of takes the cake because it's just
Mhm.
so many hours of him just playing a complete jerk.
yeah, but the last
Wonderful.
season was heartbreaking. So I'm
I haven't watched the last season, so don't
I'm
spoil
a
it.
Yeah.
huge Bruce Campbell fan. I've met him several times. I used to work with the Evil Dead musical on the Strip. So like, I met him as a fan long before I did that when I lived in Texas. But when I moved out to Vegas, I was fortunate enough to work with Evil Dead the musical on the Strip, and I got to meet him a few times through that. Not cosplay, but like Halloween. I often dress up as Ash. I've got like it's all legit because it's all from the musical, like the chainsaw, the boomstick. I got the leather strap, like the whole nine.
I think I got a few pictures of you in costume.
Yeah, I've got
Cool.
I've got like a bunch of signed stuff of his. My buddy who passed, Jason, I got him a signed thing that would like, he personalized to him, and when he passed, his brother gave it back to me. I've got like figures. I'm like the Evil Dead franchise I love because my mom took me to see Army of Darkness in the theater when I was way too young to see that movie, and it was glorious, and I couldn't get enough of that movie. It was like the first VHS tape that I bought with my own money. When I was I used to sack groceries and stuff. So lots of love for Bruce Campbell. Sorry.
Yeah. Zach says, imagine watching The Room by yourself. That would be Vader's life.
I've never seen The Room.
Don't watch it by yourself.
Okay.
Jude, do you remember the first time we watched that together?
Probably. I
Well,
mean, I
so,
think
like-
every time I've watched it with you.
So we were on the couch and I was like, I want to watch this really bad movie. Are you down? You're like, yeah. And so like we start watching it and we get to the love scene, which is about 10 minutes into the movie. And you're like, we're just cracking up watching this thing. And I think it was by the time when the mother declared that she had cancer that we were like, okay.
Most hilarious part of the whole movie.
Yeah, like
And
we were.
now
We were
I've
like,
got breast cancer.
yeah. But like, I feel like if we weren't watching this, if we hadn't been watching it together, we wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as we did. So watching it by yourself is definitely not the optimal way to watch.
I watch movies wrong.
I think I'm thinking of a different movie. Like I thought you guys were talking about like a scary movie at first, but you're talking about that movie with that goofball guy. That
Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. Okay. And not the one with the.
No, not the one with Brie
Franco.
Larson.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah, no.
That one does have some equally bad acting in it, though. But for some reason, it won an Oscar. I don't know how.
Well, she won an Oscar for it. Didn't
That's what I
everyone's
mean.
favorite actress Brie Larson win an Oscar for the film? I actually think that her film was just called Room. It wasn't.
It was,
Room.
and
It was just Room.
I stand by the only reason she won that is because of that kid. That kid could act. She's just there.
Let's give Cody Guy a line reading. You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Tearing me apart, Lisa.
If you guys haven't read Greg Sestero's book about the making of that movie, in fact, they made that into
The Disaster Artist.
The
Yeah.
Disaster Artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the
Maybe-
movie I was thinking of with Franco, right?
yeah.
Yes.
The book is so much better because
The book is much
movie's
better.
just kind of like a
Book is
Cliff Notes
hilarious.
version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember reading the book, and I'm just like, this book is fantastic. And
Better yet, get the audiobook because Greg Sestero reads it himself, and he does an excellent spot-on imitation of Tommy in it.
let me ask you, Tom, did you see Best Friends?
No, I've been wanting to, but it's like that two-parter, and I just
You
haven't
mean
got
Best
it yet.
Best Fiend?
Best Fiends or whatever
Oh,
they
Best
are
Fiends,
in
yeah.
yeah, are in parentheses.
So Jude and I watched that, and we were very disappointed.
Oh, it's a snooze.
That's
Yeah,
what I was afraid of.
It's not very. It doesn't have that campiness that The Room had.
Yeah, it's like The Room. Tommy Wiseau thought that he was making a masterpiece, and now he's kind of in on the joke, but still doesn't understand comedy. So
It's
this
kind of
was
like
just
with
like
Neil
him.
Breen.
Yeah, but I don't think Neil Breen understands comedy either. I think he just thinks that he's a star.
Neil Breen doesn't change. He's very consistent.
He's been pretty
Like-
consistent, though.
Like
yeah, you're right.
Jude and I watched Samurai Cop 2.
Yeah.
And Tommy Wiseau was in that, and it was just like they were just like, we're going to put the camera on Tommy and just let him ad lib,
hmm
and it was awful. It wasn't like fun awful. It was just awful.
Yeah.
That
It was
entire movie was
like
bad.
it was awkward awful.
Yeah, like when we watched Samurai Cop for the podcast, Samurai Cop was so awful that it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Whereas Samurai Cop 2, they were trying to make it awful.
Yeah, kind of
And-
like the Sharknado stuff. That's why I don't like that.
Well,
It's like they're
Shark-
intentionally going out to try and make one of those movies. It's like you can't intentionally make a bad movie. I mean, I get it. They have their following, but like even Sharktopus and all those other ones, it's like the reason why Plan 9 from Outer Space, the reason why The Room and all these movies become these cult classics that people love is because they were never meant to be a cult, cult comedy classic.
They weren't
were
trying
meant
to make a bad movie.
Exactly. They weren't trying to make a bad movie is my point. Yeah. Or Manos, The Hands of Fate is another one too, and some of those other ones. So I enjoy the bad movies like Tammy and the T-Rex and a few others, but like, yeah. So the when you get to the Sharktopus and the Sharknado ones and stuff like that, I just don't have the time of day for them. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent there.
I happen to love those movies, but I am a huge weirdo. Like, and like when we were saying, like, you shouldn't watch bad movies by yourself. Like, I feel like I'm the one person in a million that can, but like I was raised on that. I would stay up as late as I could watching USA Up All Night with Rhonda Shear and Gilbert Gottfried, and like I'm at home on a couch by myself watching a shitty movie, and I'm great with it. If other people are there with me, it makes it better. But I'm very happy watching shitty movies by myself. Kate has come home several times and found me watching like Sharktopus versus the evil shark or whatever. Yeah.
Take offense to you saying Up All Night only played shitty movies because like that was a big, huge part of my childhood, which again was
mine too. And when I say shitty movies, I say it with love. Like I routinely say all the time, like I love shitty movies. It's just it's the thing that I love.
I'll accept the shitty movies part because they would take Skinamax movies and cut out all the good stuff.
Speaking of USA Up All Night, this is kind of topical. Did you guys hear about Elvira coming out of the
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hamish and I were just talking about this the other
Yeah.
day.
No,
I'm
Yeah.
not
what's going on?
surprised, but at the same time, it's like,
19
damn, another one
years.
lost. No.
No, that doesn't bother me. I was more impressed with I've been divorced twice. I was more impressed with the 19-year relationship with one person. I don't care if it was
Yeah.
a man,
Yeah,
woman, or mutant. Shit.
And she still looks amazing, right?
Oh
Jude?
my
Yeah.
God, she's
Yeah, she
beautiful.
does.
She's 70 years old and she looks amazing.
She's
I met-
70?
I
Oh,
met her maybe
Good deal.
about 5-10 years ago. I met her, and she is a tiny woman.
No,
she's
I met
probably.
her.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say she's maybe 5 foot, but she is tiny.
No, but the crazy thing is, so I met her with my buddy Burke. My buddy Burke's a huge fan. She was out here for one of these, I can't remember what it was, Toy Con, or we have so many damn conventions out here. And I didn't realize how short she was. And but she wasn't in costume. I think she was one day, but when we met her, she was just like normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh wow, okay, well,
Yeah.
She did have the boobs though. That was
She's always had the boobs.
yeah. So
Gotta have the boobs.
So Vader's like, yeah, boobies.
Boobs.
Half star for boobs.
So
There was one review we did where Vader gave the movie an extra half star for having seen the actress's boobs in a different movie.
Mhm.
Oh,
it had to have something to save it.
I had a buddy talking shit about Rosario Dawson the other night because she made a guest appearance on one of the wrestling shows that I like and jumped on this guy. And my buddy was like talking shit. He's like, oh, look at this D-list actress. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? D-list actress? He's like, name one movie she's been in. I was like, Clerks 3, Alexander. And then I was like, oh shit. And you get to see her boobs in Alexander.
Sin City.
That's proof.
Yeah. She's in a ton of shit. And I was like,
every Marvel
Josie and the Pussycats.
every Netflix Marvel movie. I was like, how can you call her a D-list actor? I mean, like, what the hell? Like,
she was Ahsoka.
Yeah,
yeah, right. She is I can't wait to see that new series. So yeah, dude's out of his mind.
Yeah.
I guess Andre and Rico liked our Under Siege review.
Yeah, that was a good one. I had a good time watching
That was
one.
the Die Hard ripoff one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vader really liked the birthday cake scene where I put
dude, I saw that when I was,
well, no, I was talking about when I put your head over her breasts.
Oh yeah, that was
to get past the YouTube censorship.
Yeah.
I wish I was still able to drive because I'd love to come do another one of those movie review podcasts with you guys. Those are always fun.
You Uberin?
I guess I could Uber. Now I lost my license. So
Oh.
yeah.
When Cassandra Peters' news came out, I'm with Dork Knight, 19-year relationship.
Right?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. What is this?
So Elvira came out and said that she's been in a lesbian relationship with one person for the last 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's everyone doesn't care about the lesbianism. They care about the 19 years that she's been with one person.
I'm jealous. Like I would give anything to like that. Like that's love, man. That's love.
It's the power of boobs.
Do you think a lesbian cares about? Well, everybody loves boobs. Never mind.
Yeah, you find a good pair of boobs, you don't want to leave them.
I know some lesbians who really like boobs. Okay, so don't tell me it's not part
I think it kind of almost comes with the territory.
No. Everybody, babies, men, women, everybody loves boobs.
I broke up with a girl once, a long time ago, because she was flat.
You shallow fuck.
True story.
I'm pretty sure my girl's watching this, so I'm not gonna say shit.
I couldn't get past it. It was too weird.
Andre Enrico asks, have you ever watched Cruel Jaws?
Yeah, I've seen
Treasure of Cinema.
No,
those
I've never
are the
seen
kind
that
of movies
one.
I like. The not intentionally bad movies, or ones that are made to rip off other movies, so they're clearly just cash-ins. Those are other ones that are really funny, and that's what that is. Cruel Jaws is just another. In fact, it's known as Jaws 5 in other countries.
Mm. Jamie Vanderhorst says, one of the major gripes I have against movies like Sharknado and Asylum movies is the use of bad CGI. I really prefer bad practical effects over bad CGI. I'd have to agree with that. Bad CGI just looks like bad cartoons.
Yeah.
But those movies they're intentionally
or
bad,
cheap
right?
video games. Cheap video games. That's where I go to with those.
Well, and that's where I have an issue with them, right? Like it's like anybody can make a bad movie, right? It takes somebody who has a brain like Tommy Wiseau or one of those guys who actually thinks they're making this, epic masterpiece, and it turns out to be, a laugh fest, right? Like, that's the kind I love.
So I'm not laughing at you, Tom.
No, I know you're laughing at Unga Bunga.
I mean, everybody just wants to talk about boobs in the comments.
Well, boobs are universal, right?
Actually, so before
can we talk about bad CGI boobs?
Has there ever been any? I don't know.
I'm sure there
have. Yeah.
Anyway, Jude, please. Continue.
Well, they did reduce what's her face's boobs for that Herbie movie, though. I knew that.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
The drug addict.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget.
Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay
Lohan. Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not
Jude?
famous. I'd get so much hate on Twitter for saying what I just said, but whatever.
No,
Before
gonna
Kadish and I were together, back in my single days, anytime anyone would send me a picture of their anatomy, I would use it as their profile picture in my phone. And I had a friend who sent me a picture of her boobs one time, and just like 2 days ago, she was like, "Is my profile picture still my boobs in your phone?" And I was like, "Yep." And I screenshot it and sent it back to her. She was like, "I love you."
Yeah. No,
You'd
I
be
have
surprised
a rule.
how many people send Jude naked pictures of themselves.
That's
happens
ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I've never sent a unsolicited picture in my life.
I feel like that's like a modern phone generation thing, because
yeah, I think we're all
back in my day, we would never.
See, I was just about to say that.
Considered doing that,
Yeah, like we're
it's
all
ridiculous.
Old.
Hey man, here's a
except for
picture.
Jude.
Here's a picture of my dick. What do you think? It's like, are we good? Okay.
No, man.
No.
Like you
I'll
killed the
look at it.
mystery. So like I don't know about you, Matt, but like back in my single days, when I was out, I'd always play down the size of my penis. I'd always be like make little dick jokes, like self-deprecating jokes. That way, I think it's a good size, obviously, because it's mine. But if you lower expectations, you know what I mean? And then they're like, oh wow, it's not that small. You know what I mean? It always worked in my
Good point. That's a
you
good
know?
point.
Yeah, like hey, this life hack for all you 20 somethings out there trying to smash.
Well, and Hollywood should take note of that. It's like, quit acting like every movie you bring out is the bestest ever, and just be like, yeah, we hope it's better than the last one.
Oh, lowering expectations. Yeah, my point was stop sending dick pics and tell people you have a little one.
Women don't want dick pics, guys.
And women don't want them. And like plus, like dicks are ugly, man. Like boobs though. Like, boobs are beautiful. Like I said, everybody loves boobs.
Boobs
like,
are warm and inviting. Yes.
Saturday morning home game. Everybody.
Penis is disgusting. It's like, sorry.
I disagree, but I will say if you're going to send people pictures of your dick, clean up your room, because nobody wants to see your pile of laundry or all your like.
Oh, you mean
on
like
the floor.
Manscaped? Is that what you're talking about? Manscaped?
No, clean up the room, because if you're sending a picture, like if you're sending a mirror picture, and I can not me, but like if you can see like your room is a piece of shit, nobody's coming in there.
I thought you were like metaphorically calling the junk.
So is my room too messy, Jude? Is it too messy?
No, you can send them, Vader. I'll look. Good looking room. Good looking room.
I don't want it associated with dick pics. You know what's funny? And I swear to God, this is true, and I can pull it up on my phone. I've literally had since living in Vegas. I've lived here 11 years. I've had about half a dozen chicks literally ask me for a dick pic, and I swear to God, and I have it saved on my phone. Do you know what I send them?
Boobs.
No, Dick Van Dyke's headshot.
That's a good one. I have one
every
that's actually
time.
a guitar pick,
and it's saved on my phone.
It says dick on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this whole Tinder generation swipe right, swipe left thing. I could never ever in a million years do that.
Well, I figured out a lot of it. I think it's another reason why they're so obsessed with their pronouns and all that stuff, is because they're so busy talking about it that they're not actually doing it.
Yeah, don't get me started on that shit.
Bill
Maher said it best. He was like, dating used to be you go out, you meet people, you have a connection, blah blah blah. But now it's just like I'll try. It's like looking at a menu. He's like, I'll try the Lisa tonight. That's like. I paraphrased. I probably butchered his joke.
It's kind of like that scene in Logan's Run, right, Matt, where they're like flipping through the holograms.
Oh yeah,
that's Tinder, isn't it?
That's chat roulette, I think. But it's kind of funny that Danny referenced what's his name, Bill Maher.
Yeah,
Because when I used to run into him in Hollywood, all he cared about were black hookers. Like that was
Oh,
like
we're getting it back in
he's
Hollywood
pretty-
story.
He's pretty honest about that. Like, I've never been to Hollywood like you, but I knew that. Come on,
So Novus Tullius says, I don't know if you've talked about it yet or plan to do so, but I was disappointed by Foundation. Production and CG was amazing, but I didn't think too much of the acting.
No spoilers. I haven't seen this yet, please.
So Novus, we're actually doing a episode by episode review of Foundation season 1 for our members area. We're going to be recording it this Tuesday, and the first episode is going to be kind of on our general YouTube channel and podcast stream, so everyone can listen to it. And then episodes 2 through 10, we're just going to be for our members only.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a lot to say about that show.
Okay, so that's the one that you guys like when we were talking last week. That's
Yeah,
on
we watched
Apple.
the trailer.
It's on Apple TV, right?
Yes.
It's on Apple TV.
Fuck, that's the one I gotta buy. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. That's the
Four
one
$4.99.
Yeah,
You
that's
can-
yeah, but it adds up, man. I got
listen,
Disney
it
Plus, I got
costs you a cup of
Hulu.
coffee. It costs you a cup of coffee.
Fair enough.
I
Fair enough.
watched the first episode yesterday. I'm going to watch the second one after we're done with this. But I'm impressed. I really like it.
So how does
I'm not
one-
going to say anything more about it.
I'm not. This is helping you with a shameless plug, but it's also true. I'm not one of your members, even though I'm
Well,
frequently
that's-
on your show. I'm
yeah.
not a member. So how does
Then-
one hold up? How does one become a member? This is where we would put like
Oh,
a
that's-
graphic.
You know,
That's
just
a nice segue. Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
saltynerdclub.com to
There
sign
we
up.
go. That's what I was going for. So go to saltynerdclub.com if that
Yeah.
sounds like the kind of content you would be interested in watching.
Six says, I get turned on when men send me a pic of their action figure collection. So
Ooh,
Danny,
I can do
get right
that.
on that.
Oh shit! I mean, I wish I could take my camera and show you.
That's
guys my
why
hall-
she won't leave me alone.
show you guys my hallway, because this hallway
I'm
here
kidding,
into my
sis.
son's bathroom, it's all Star Trek, and it looks like a toy store because it's all like Star Trek figures on the wall, and then yeah, it's crazy.
Everyone in the
Super
chat seems to love boobs.
Well, yeah.
I told you, everybody loves boobs. It's not just the chat.
That's
it's
right.
like everybody. Show me a person that doesn't love boobs, and I'll show you a miserable ass party boob.
Hail.
Nato, I think I have it set up correctly, but I mean, who knows, right?
Is he talking about me? Because mine's a blue Yeti, isn't it? Or
Eric Weinberg for $5 says, "Hail, salty and all, pretty highbrow for a Saturday." Oh, you should see our structured conversation.
ouch! That
That's
was that. My kidneys, bro. Ow, ow.
I am getting a hum from somebody. What is going on?
It's probably Kadish's phone.
Is it me?
Oh, it is Kadish's phone. That's why
Oh,
it
okay.
sounded familiar.
Is it my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zzz, zzz. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a very important person. I don't know if you guys know this. I have to have my phone nearby. I just had a conversation with a big Hollywood showrunner yesterday. So
Oh, hey, while you're waving your big dick around, why don't you just name drop? Who was it?
No.
I can't do that.
Oh, NDAs. God damn it.
We got stuff coming up, man, but we can't talk about it yet. So
We got stuff going on behind the scenes.
big things, guys, big things.
Yeah, but he called me all the way from Canada, if you believe it or not.
Canadian.
I didn't know we weren't supposed to be talking about it.
Hey.
I've been texting everyone. I'm like, Mom, guess what?
Well, your mom's okay. That's fine.
Historic setup site address. What's Noto? Noto, what do you mean? What's wrong with my setup site address talking to logo on front?
James Mangold. No, it's not James Mangold. He's not a showrunner. He's a director.
Is it J.J. Abrams? I bet it's J.J. Abrams.
Boobs life good, no boob life sad. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So should I not badmouth J.J. Abrams?
So hey, Noto, is this what
Like
you're talking
Marcia
about? Am I doing it
Lucas?
right?
You actually sound better now.
Do I? That's what he was saying. He just told me to turn it to the side and talk to the logo.
There you
If-
go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
Because it's not the mic's not on the top; it's on the front.
Yeah,
Okay.
depending on the setting you have, but yeah.
Yeah.
So this is better. This sounds better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
sounds good.
You're fine.
You sound
And we
like
get-
butter, baby.
And we can see your face, and it doesn't look like you're trying to get intimate with your microphone now. So
Oh, hey, you know what? Even better. But I got a face for radio, man. especially for my
Hey,
role.
that's my line.
I guess that's why we haven't seen your face yet, bro.
That's my
Better
line.
see it when we're done.
You don't want to.
Tom's
Whatever.
a good looking.
If you had a
Oh,
face for
there he
radio,
is.
you wouldn't have a hottie like Jude. So that's I call bullshit on that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
'cause
always.
Matt's the man.
I can't figure it out, man. It's like Matt's always like Got all the hot chicks.
I got some game, brother. You've never seen me.
You should see his profile pic on my phone.
I love his. I love the
never wanna see
delivery of
that.
that. By the way, he's like, I got some game. But you said no white.
Everyone makes fun of this picture, but it's the sexiest picture on the internet right now.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
it looks like you have a 10-inch forehead in that picture, where you have it cut off. Like I would just show the whole head. You know?
It's
So
all
is-
brain.
It's all brain.
It's all brain.
I'm the original brainhead.
So was the Marcia Lucas thing something on the docket to talk about, or was
Yeah,
that,
we could talk about that.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys.
No,
caught
no,
that.
no structure, Tom. No structure.
There's
that's
like
okay.
literally no story. Every week I come in here with wrestling news and we never get to it. And I wear a wrestling shirt.
I apologize,
You know.
man, because I am not a wrestling fan. Like I
Oh,
used
it's
to
all
watch it
good.
as a kid, but like my wrestling is like Hulk Hogan, Big
Ooh,
Boss
yeah.
Man, Jake the Snake,
Macho Man.
Macho Man,
Yeah,
yeah,
I had the
Roddy
Macho-
Piper,
Ultimate
like,
Warrior.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, back in way back, like the anime.
No, I
and
feel
stuff
you.
and
Yeah,
all
no,
that.
I feel you, man.
Like every time the Knights score, we all become Ric Flair.
It's just woo. Well, hey, actually, that's kind of taboo now. Did you hear about what
No.
happened?
No,
with Ric Flair?
what?
Oh, really?
I know
Okay,
what?
so
All right, well, we
Dark
can go
Side.
there. Let's
Don't
go there.
Really?
Do you?
No,
Are you
go,
familiar
no,
with
go
this,
there.
Matt?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, talk
Oh, okay.
The not the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring, but the last week's episode of Dark Side of the Ring, which is a Vice documentary about wrestling,
Okay.
had to do with a topic called the plane ride from hell. And Ric Flair was on that plane ride from hell, and a lot of terrible, shitty stuff happened. But the thing that has to do with Ric Flair, like Ric Flair lost his sponsorships with Car Shield or whoever it was. He got removed from WWE's website. All of his merch got removed from their website.
Yep.
They have an opening that like WWE now, then forever, whatever. And then like it used to have the Ric Flair woo in it, right? And they removed that because of this Dark Side of the Ring episode. And it turned out like so if you're not, are you familiar with Dark Side of the Ring, or should I explain?
No,
it?
I'm not.
Okay, so Dark Side of the Ring is basically it's a docu-series.
Okay.
And they pick some, like they usually have fans vote for it, but they pick like whatever a crazy wrestling story is from over the years, and then they do a documentary on it. And the plane ride from hell has been like some fabled, almost like exalted kind of like awesome thing, because what happened was all these wrestlers were in Europe, and they were flying back to the States, but the plane ride got delayed on the tarmac for 7 hours before they even took off, and it was an 8-hour flight,
Okay.
So while they were on the tarmac, they went through 3 carts of liquor. And because this is a chartered private plane, it's not like airplane bottles. It's actual like a bar with actual bottles, right? So you've got 50 some odd wrestlers who are like hyper testosterone active anyway, fucking schmammered, and then they pull pranks on each other. Like they were talking about, like they called them H-bombs, where they're like dropping drugs in people's drinks when they're not looking, just to fuck them up. So they could they cut one dude's ponytail off. They do like I'm sure you've heard of snorkeling. They do all kinds of stupid, crazy shit. But the problem is that there were stewardesses on this plane. And so Ric Flair did his little, apparently Ric Flair, I'd never heard of this until this episode.
See, I'd heard of this already before.
You had? You'd heard of
This wasn't news to me. That's
Really?
why I was kind of like shocked when this went
mad
down.
respect. I thought
Because
this
I'd
was
heard about this before.
I
It was-
never-
Okay, but
well,
tell
I
me
heard-
what happened.
Okay, sorry. So Ric Flair, do you know who Ric Flair is? And he wears the
Yeah, of
robes
course.
and shit to the ring.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So he was on the plane, he was drunk, and he was wearing the robe, but he was like naked under the robe, right?
Mhm.
And so apparently, this is the part I'd heard of before. Apparently, he used to like go to the boys in the locker room and he'd open up his robe and he'd because he's got a huge penis, and he would do this helicopter thing,
Okay.
with his penis, just to like rib the boys. So anyway, so he did this to one of the stewardesses, like a female stewardess,
Mhm.
and then he like kind of cornered her, and she felt threatened. Like so they interview her, but they don't interview him. He probably turned it down. So it's kind of not fair. You only get her side of the story, but it was
Mhm.
so horrific and like terrible. Like, I've got 2 daughters, if Ric Flair done that to my daughter, I'd beat his ass,
Okay.
Until he got you in a figure
die
4.
trying. Sorry,
Yeah.
Matt. You know what I mean? Die trying.
Yeah.
But so because of that, he's been canceled by everybody. Did I explain that pretty well? Did I miss anything?
No,
Or-
I think you kind of got it all.
Jude, you got the gist of that, or
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Yeah.
basically,
it's like
you have
sexual
you-
assault.
You have
basically.
a raging
Did
frat
wait.
party. You have a raging frat party going on this plane that's been going on for 15 hours, and you got all these crazy drug addict 300-pound wrestlers being crazy dudes pulling pranks on everything, and you know what, there's no excuse for it, but I hate this shit where he's getting canceled for something that has already been settled in court 15 years ago.
Right, and this is kind of fucked up. Did the statute of limitations run off?
This isn't
like,
new.
She shouldn't have been able. I thought part of the settlement was like a gag order. Like, did the statute of limitations run off? Because it is kind of fucked up that they paid.
I don't think
this
there's
woman.
a statute of limitations on an agreement like that. But you know, we've made multiple jokes on the podcast about how the '80s was just like, if you wanted the woman, you take the woman type thing. That era just seems like, you know, like, oh, that was just part of.
No, this was 2000. This was 2001 or 2. This wasn't
about 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was like roughly 20 years ago.
But it's
just slinging it around in the 2000s.
Well, that was.
Yeah, did he at least have a clean room? Was that like...
No, they were on a fucking airplane.
Yeah, no, I know.
And he made this allegedly. I guess I should say allegedly. She made this stewardess, like, he took her hand and put it on his, you know.
That was my question.
Yeah,
I was wondering if he touched her or if he just like showed it and she was intimidated.
No, like, well, I mean, allegedly, you know, it's just her side of the story. Like, because what I had heard was just him doing that in front of the boys, and like, obviously no gay shit's going on. But like, what she was saying was he did that, and he kind of cornered her, and then he asked her to touch it. She said no, and he's Ric Flair, used to get in his way. Plus, he's all drugged out of his mind and stuff. So he allegedly grabbed her hand, and put it on his penis. And then she was talking. It was sad, man. She was talking about it caused her marital problems. Did you see the episode, Matt?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. Yeah. Like, what is your take, man? I feel like I almost feel like we're on opposite ends of this. For
no, we're not opposite. I think it's just an unfortunate thing, and I don't like talking about this stuff that happened 20 years ago. I feel like it was really kind of a shitty episode.
I know it was kind of like I think they did it because of the whole cancel culture. Like I feel like they skewed one side of the story to get ratings, and poor Tommy Dreamer, and I've met him a few times too.
So I would probably skew more toward Tommy's way of the way he described this stuff. So
I don't know, man. Here's the thing for me that crossed the line. He made her touch his dick. I don't remember that part of the show. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Well, that's why I said allegedly, but that's what she says. That's what the stewardess.
You know, this was I mean, I'm not going to make excuses, but this is an airline that caters to sports teams and charters. You know, testosterone fueled dudes and plies it with alcohol. And
you see that comment?
Yeah, I do. And you know, there's no excuse for it, but I think that the episode was highly skewed. The interviews were
nobody got to defend themselves.
It was all of this woman playing victim for something that she had already been compensated for, and I felt it was. I want to see the other side of the story. If we're gonna go there, and I don't like canceling people for shit that happened 20 years ago. It's bullshit.
I agree with that, especially because she got paid. But still to this day, and I love fucking Ric Flair. If that stewardess was my daughter, I'd beat his ass or die trying. You know what I mean?
You'd get your ass kicked, but that's
I know I would. And that's why I said or die trying. You
know. Real quick, Andre Enrico says an interview with the creator of Babylon 5 or Farscape would be interesting. Andre, I am trying to reach out to J. Michael Straczynski. I would love to talk to him. It would probably be on one of my bad writing live streams or something like that. But
whoa. Are you saying Babylon 5 and Farscape is bad writing?
No. Oh, okay. It's that I would want to talk to the creators on my bad writing live stream.
Have you guys ever reviewed any? Like, those are two of my favorite, like especially Farscape. Like oh my god, have you guys ever reviewed any of those? And if not, like I'm like
not yet. I've tried to get these guys to review Farscape. But
at the very least, I want to do Farscape. Farscape like had the balls to like. Never mind.
Farscape is really good.
I love Farscape. Yeah,
Vader saw the Muppets and he's like, "Fuck this show,
dude." No, the writing is so good. No, like that, like because my buddy Eric is who got me into it, and I was the same way. I was like, I don't want to see fucking Muppets, you know, like they couldn't CGI it, blah 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 blah. And then I watched it, and the writing is so good, bro.
It's like Game of Thrones in space. It's
and
really
they make such like some of the decisions you've never seen before, like when they split him into two and they keep them both. Like, I'm trying to be super vague, but like, you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh,
Kadish?
like
Yeah.
Tuvix, the Tuvix episode.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, but imagine if both of them remained characters
Listen,
for the rest of the show.
I'm not watching Farscape. I just don't care.
Oh man.
That was done. With
All right,
the-
I can take his place, and we can.
Yeah,
go
Vader, I'd tell you this: if you actually got into the show, like you'd really enjoy it.
I think you'd like
It's
it,
really good.
Matt. you
Well,
know.
there's Tom and William Riker that they probably stole that idea from too. So it's okay.
No, this was before then.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the great thing is it's so meta because they make Kirk and Spock references and they reference Twilight Zone.
I got a lot of other stuff I got to watch too. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben
We'll
Browder's
see.
character actually comes from Earth, so he has all the
Yeah.
pop culture references.
yeah,
And
it's
and
so
and
good.
him and Claudia Black together on screen, it's
And
just
she-
magic.
No, I like
Yeah.
her.
She,
I
like
her.
great, and she's gorgeous, and they have great chemistry.
And it's a Jim Henson production, so
Yeah.
like you have the Muppeteers working all the aliens and like
From
the
my recollection, didn't Brian Henson actually have more to do with it? And he was the one that
well,
really
yeah,
got it.
because Jim was dead by then.
well, I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
about Jim Henson Studios.
The
yeah,
studio.
yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a truly wonderful series.
I actually have a Farscape hat and an autograph thing in the other room. I almost want to grab it and put it on.
Yeah, but I would love to have a chat with J. Michael Straczynski. He's one of my favorite
I might know
writers.
somebody who knows him.
He's too famous now because of Thor.
I'll just reach out to him with my blue check mark on Twitter. I'm sure.
Oh, there you go.
God.
Oh man,
If we can get through an
Where's that hat?
hour without him mentioning that
I know.
fucking blue check
Hey,
mark.
man.
dude. Jim,
I used
you're
to
supposed
work
get him a
in
hat.
Hollywood. I used to work in Hollywood.
Remember-
I got a
hey,
blue
did you-
check
hey,
mark.
hey, did you guys know that Kadish used to work in Hollywood?
Yeah.
What?
Jesus,
Somebody
somebody
never
thinks
told
we're a
me.
celebrity.
It-
now.
it's a well-kept
Yeah.
secret. It really is.
Should we start calling you Monday? No,
We-
I'm
we-
I am. What do you call it?
You're a meme now, bro.
Yeah, I'm Mimi Matt, I guess.
Oh, I guess I need to make that meme. Did you know a picture of Kadish with? Because I used to work in Hollywood.
Yeah, the cool thing about Farscape was always just kind of like, so like there's this crew of this living ship
Yeah,
that are all kind of thrust together, and they don't trust each other, and so they're constantly kind of working to undermine each other until the point where like they have to come together to like save their own skins, and it just creates this wonderful dynamic in that show.
there's all kinds of crazy stuff. So I was watching it with my son, and I didn't know, and I don't like spoilers for a fucking 30-year-old show, but like one of the characters who's like with another character ends up sleeping with that character's son. And my son and I, like, and he's like, in his late teens, we were watching this show together, and it was funny. And he gives me this look, and I was like, dude, if you ever sleep with my woman, like, it's done, it's over. It was just so funny.
How
But so
very
those
Indiana Jones.
Those who've seen it know what I'm talking about. But
Zach, I would definitely ask Straczynski about, like his plan and how it changed for Babylon 5 and all that stuff. I think it'd be really interesting to talk about. Yeah, and then Ken Crusher points out that the show went, they all went to Stargate SG-1 after the show ended.
who's they?
Ben Browder and Claudia Black.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
went over there.
And
And,
one of my favorite episodes was the cartoon episode. Do you remember that? The Looney Tunes inspired one?
I
where it was-
don't.
The whole episode was a cartoon.
Joker voice says, "Hey, it's me, the Mangold Slayer." I don't know where that came from. People just started referring to me as that. And I was
Andre, as far as I know.
like, I didn't actually slay anybody.
You should put that in your profile.
Yeah, Mangold Slayer hashtag.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Let's
Of
talk
course
about
he would
William.
come up with a saying like that because he's like a Viking and shit.
The
I
Slayer. In every generation, there is a Mangold Slayer.
I don't. Well, you know what I do. I'm going to change the subject really quick. And did you guys hear about? Sorry. Wow. I'm sorry, Matt. I know you're going to have to edit that out at some point. But
Get your shit together.
It's
I
man.
know, right?
We're live, bro. We're live.
Stop sucking all that dick.
I know.
Creates a lot of phlegm.
William Shatner, guys.
Oh yeah.
William Shatner's going to go into space at 90
Again?
years old.
And
No,
I
for
think
real.
it's gonna be a long, long time.
He's going to be the
Touchdown.
he's
Bring
going to
it
be the
around,
oldest
yeah.
dude ever to
Fine.
orbit the Earth.
Right.
For real.
Yeah, no, like if
He's
you-
literally going to be Rocket Man.
That is like,
I'm a rocket man.
Man.
I hope he like. I love William Shatner. I've got a beautiful framed.
I hope
picture
it's one of those
in the room.
situations where aliens abduct him because they think he's actually, Kirk, and he has to go and save the
So
galaxy.
we have a Galaxy Quest moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope it
God, I
becomes a
love that
Galaxy
movie.
Quest moment.
It's my second
Like,
favorite
by the
Star Trek
way,
movie.
I'm not coming home. These aliens they think I'm really Captain Kirk, and I'm like, fuck it.
that's great.
I only got a few more years left. I might as well.
Yeah. They're putting me in a robot body that's just as old and will die at the same time.
Well,
All I hear on Earth is, look, there goes Captain Kirk. So I might as well be Captain Kirk.
And then once he finds out that the aliens are fans of his, he's like, ugh, I want to go home.
I just
What do you
think
mean?
he's gonna
One of my
charge him
autographs.
$100 per picture.
Yeah.
That's $100.
I just think
That's not enough. He should charge more. It's in space. A picture with him in space. That's at least.
Actually, I think he doubled it this last year, even though I don't think he showed up at the event. Because when I was looking up the prices, I think because the year I got it, the last time it was $100 for the autograph and $150 for the photo or opportunity or whatever. And it was like $200 this time for the autograph. So I think he raised his price.
My son, and I can prove it with a YouTube video that I have shooting it from my point of view. My son is in one of William Shatner's documentaries, and it was filmed. Part of it was filmed here in Las Vegas at the Star Trek convention, and it was the first one I took my son to. So this would have been like 2010, 2011, and my oldest son, who's 22 now, about to be 23, and so he goes up and he asks this question. And he goes, he asked William Shatner, he goes, and I'm having to save our seats. So I'm way in the back and I'm recording it on my phone, which is the video that I put on YouTube. And the clip, the high produced clip is in the documentary. I forget the name of it, but it was like an Epics documentary or something like that. And he asked William Shatner, what's your favorite dramatic scream, Kirk or Spock or Khan? And then William Shatner's like, when did I yell Spock? He's like, and my son's like, in the Wrath of Khan when he's dying, he goes, Spock, and everybody laughs. And he's like, okay. And then so Shatner's like, okay, well, how did I say Khan? And then my son goes, Khan, and then like everybody laughs. And then William Shatner goes, what are my favorite screams? Screams of ecstasy, but you wouldn't know anything about that. And my son was so devastated.
Oh man,
so
that's
devastated.
hilarious.
He didn't even say his name, didn't reply, turns around, walks off, and then William Shatner to kind of save it because he could tell like he devastated because the kid was like 12 at the time. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, bye-bye. But they put that in the documentary, which I thought was awesome,
He's such a dick.
I
Is
know.
that Trekkies or one of those?
Do you guys
No,
know?
it-
Do you guys
it was-
know Patrick Stewart is 10 years younger than William Shatner,
Yeah,
and he looks like 30 years older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
yeah. No, it wasn't Trekkies. I think it was called Captains, maybe. It was.
Oh, okay. That's a fairly newer one then.
He
Yeah.
shot it for Epics, is the channel. I'll look it
Epics.
up. But
It's one that's actually in my queue, funnily enough.
yeah. Well, you'll recognize that with little.
Yeah, when I
kid
see that scene,
goes,
I'll know what it
"God,
is.
Spock. That's my son.
Keg Crusher points out Christopher Walken's best role was in Balls of Fury. It's a great movie. Completely disagree, but whatever.
Disagree. Joe Dirt.
Balls of Fury, I didn't think was funny at all. I liked the concept behind it, and I was
Joe
hoping it was going to be
Dirt,
funny, but it was
I don't
not.
think I've seen
not a
that
good
one.
movie. Not a good movie.
Oh, hey, child beckons. I'll be back. Sorry.
All right, Vader. Anything else you wanted to talk about today?
No, we covered Nicolas Cage and briefly.
We never
touched on,
got to
William Shatner.
Marcia Lucas, but I mean.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
talk about-
Let's go.
Let's talk about the
I've
Martian.
had it.
Tom, why don't you set that up for people who don't know about it?
Well, Howard Kazajian, if I'm saying his name right, is a producer from Star Wars and quite a few other films. And the late author J.W. Rinsler just had a book released about the producer. And in it is not only a foreword by Marcia Lucas, but a bunch of excerpts from, I'm assuming, an interview that she conducted with either Rinsler or Kazajian or something to that effect, because these had never come out before, and they're referencing newer Star Wars films, even though these are a couple years old. But the one that stuck out most was where she basically threw Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and Rian Johnson under the bus big time. And not only that, called them out.
Mhm.
And it was kind of a really standoffish kind of a comment. I don't know if
Well,
you have it
she even
handy.
said you can quote me on that.
Yeah. Not only that, she's like, call me, like,
that
'cause
was
it was kind of a whoa.
pretty epic, man. Pretty epic. I have to admit.
And you know, Marcia Lucas is the one who's credited with saving Star Wars: A New Hope in
I was
the
going to
editing
say, I
room.
mean, I suppose some context of who she is might be in order for those who don't know.
Yeah, so she was George Lucas's first wife, and she's an accomplished editor.
Prior to even being his wife, yeah.
Yeah, and when George Lucas was making Star Wars, she was the editor of the movie. And she was the one who is kind of credited with having saved the movie in the editing room, because apparently George, you know, we all know this, he's not a very good director. And so like he needed a lot of help in structuring the story, which a lot of people kind of behind the scenes attribute to her. And then not too long after Star Wars hit it big, like the two of them got divorced. And she's just kind of been, you know, living off that George Lucas money for like the past 30, 40 years. But she, you know, doesn't work in the industry anymore, I don't think. So
well, the other side to that was that supposedly George got her blacklisted too.
There's that,
but
but the point is that like she doesn't care who she pisses off now because like she doesn't have to protect her career or anything like that.
No, and it should be noted that she also kind of ghost edited Empire and Jedi as well.
Yeah. So it's nice to see someone with that type of pedigree come out and say what everyone knows to be true. I wish more people in the industry would do that.
Well, and it needs to be noted, she didn't just edit like television shows or something like that. She edited Taxi Driver, for F's sake. I mean, and
she's legit, man.
Yeah, like sure. I mean, she was a major editor, and it was kind of like, you know, for her to say this, you're right, Matt. Like this carries weight on both sides of the equation with both Star Wars fans, and it's hard to ignore from people on the inside of Hollywood because she is kind of like, I mean, she's the mother of Star Wars in a lot of ways. Even though in the book itself, she kind of like detracts from that. She's like, oh no, it's George's thing. It's this, that, and the other.
Oh, you're talking about George's ex-wife. Sorry, I just got
yeah. And it was just to me, it's just like, no, you need to take more credit where credit is due, because to me, she even talks about the prequels. Like, yeah, as much as I love George Lucas, you know, the prequels have their problems, and she basically says in there what a lot of fans felt. And I think that the key was what she was getting to was too, is that, you know, George was just too autonomous. He didn't have anybody to rein him in, and he didn't have anybody like her or, you know, Gary Kurtz or Kazajan or anybody else saying you can't do this, or it's too much, or it's too far, you need this, you need that, cut it here, cut it there, kind of thing. And you know, George was just like a kid in a candy store with all the toys he had, you know. And but that's neither here nor there. I think the more damning thing was, you know, just how she badmouthed Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, considering they'd worked together in the past and known each other.
She didn't really badmouth her. She literally called her out.
Well, I mean, she basically told her, you don't get Star Wars. And that was the prominent thing through the whole thing. Because Kazajan's comments, too, were basically the same thing, is they don't get Star Wars.
Yeah, she's not the first person to say that about Kathleen Kennedy at all. You know?
Well, she's the first person from the Star Wars inner circle to really go.
The first one that matters.
Yeah.
You know, watching all of these Last Jedi Defender websites and people this last week has been absolutely hysterical to me, because they're just really trying to come up with ways to talk shit about her, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny, you know. It's just like, well, she isn't relevant anymore. She's old, you know, blah 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 blah.
She has no real power.
She doesn't do anything anymore. It's like, but she was there. She's inner circle. She's inner Lucas. She's like got that stuff in her DNA. She's the exact kind of person that needs to call these people to the carpet about what they've done to this franchise, at least in my head. So, yeah, I was super pleased to see those quotes come out.
Me too.
And more people that have that kind of sway and background need to come out and start saying things so we can get our franchise back.
It's respect, right? Yeah. It's hard not to respect her, and B, she's a woman, so how are they going to attack her, right? Like, what angle could they take?
Exactly.
Well, there's also that Bob Iger biography that came out. We actually got to see in that book how George Lucas responded to The Force Awakens, and he was not happy about it either. That didn't get half the play I thought it would, because this is the creator of Star Wars, and he's like, dude, what are you guys doing?
Well, it
Like,
will
this is
later
all-
though. Like once it's like because they were trying to be protective of the new stuff, but like as more and more people shit on Kathleen Kennedy's decisions in the in the sequel trilogy, I think that type, those George Lucas quotes will get more play than they did, because I feel like Disney probably tried to suppress them. What do you think?
Well, I
Kid
think
Crusher. Go ahead.
I was just say, I think people concentrated more on the fact that Bob threw out his treatments than anything.
Yeah. Kid Crusher says Marcia is one of the most important people in Star Wars history that most fans never heard of or what she did. I'd put Gary Kurtz in that category too.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, it's weird because he kind of built Lucasfilm for her, which is funny. I mean, and I've said this before, which is kind of ironic about the prequel films. I almost feel like he was working out a lot of that relationship in those movies.
A bad romance.
Yeah, because he built Lucasfilm for her, so she had a facility to edit from home so they could have a family. And he built this thing for her, and what ended up happening is he lost her because of it. So it's kind of like the same story of Anakin, right? He did all this stuff for her so he wouldn't lose her, and in the end, just doing that is what happened, right?
Manifesting the dynasty, your fears, manifesting.
Yeah,
your fears.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
When art imitates life.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't build studios in your homes, Matt.
And maybe that's why he was a little closer to those films, even though he didn't know how to express it to people. And maybe that's
Marcia Lucas had the high ground. So
yeah, she did in that sense. But again, for those who are curious, what she contributed mostly was she fixed the last third of the film, because the original version of the movie, there's no Death Star coming to the Rebel base. That was all her doing and editing and voiceover. If you notice in the movie itself, nobody ever mentions the fact that the Rebel base is about to be destroyed by the Death Star. And she added in like a bunch of more runs and some other things. Like she used everything she could to re-edit around it to make it more exciting and have this clock ticking down, so that, it wasn't just these teenagers going out in the middle of nowhere and blowing up the Death Star for no good reason other than because they want to. So like that was kind of how it was anticlimactic in that way, I guess. But she really fixed that in the editing room on top of a few other things. And yeah, I mean, she did a lot for that film, and I'm sure she had a lot to do with the prequels as far as inspiring them. I don't doubt that at all.
Behind every, what is that saying? I bet
every
Jude
great
knows
man,
it.
there's an even greater woman.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Thank you.
I agree.
All right, guys. So we've been going for some time now. I think it's about time that we start wrapping things up. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we call it a day?
I was really looking forward to talking to Matt about something, but I feel like, brother, we should just start our own little side wrestling.
I don't have
thing.
time. I don't have time.
Killing me.
Vader's a very busy man.
All right. No, I was looking forward to talking about CM Punk this week.
I want to talk really quick. I want to talk about. So, what do you think about Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega's match from Wednesday, getting a 5-star rating from the
From Meltzer?
Yeah.
Yes. I 100% agree. I thought it was the best free match on television I've seen
in a long time.
Yeah. It was amazing.
I would give it like 4.5 because I don't think
you don't like the draw.
I don't like the draw.
Why? It makes it seem more. It makes it seem more real. Two, it protects both of them. The title wasn't on the line.
No. Listen,
and this gives them an excuse to give us a title match.
I totally get that, but a 5-star match needs to have an end. But it was a great setup for what's going to be an amazing rivalry, and it needs to last about a year.
Yeah,
they need to wrestle probably 5 times, and best.
I'd watch them wrestle every week. That match was so
really
good.
was. It was probably the best match I've seen on TV since maybe
The
CM
90s.
Punk. Probably since CM Punk
okay.
wrestled since CM Punk wrestled Cena in Chicago right before he quit.
Okay, so like early mid,
And that,
like
2000. like 7, 8 years ago. Yeah. So really good match.
No, more than that.
I know nobody cares about wrestling, but that's fine. We do. And the CM Punk match last night. That's the only thing I've watched about that show. It was kind of weak. I didn't really like it. What
did you not like about it? Be specific.
I can't really be specific. That's just
I can tell you what I liked about it.
I thought it was just a TV match. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Everything CM Punk is overhyped right now because he's still in his comeback phase.
So may
So-
I try to tell you
Yeah,
why
yeah, sure.
okay. So his first match was against Darby Allin, which is a totally different style.
I don't like Darby Allin either.
I don't either, but I'm just
He's
my
too
point
small.
is
Too
he's a
small.
total high flyer, totally different style than the guy he wrestled tonight or the other night, who was like a power, literally called Powerhouse Hobbs, just big dude, beefy guy. So in CM Punk's kind of like a medium-sized dude. So it's like you got to see two totally different styles of CM Punk in his first two matches that he gets to go over on in his first two matches. And I mean, I was extremely impressed with that GTS at the end of the match because I didn't think because Hobbs is a big dude, man.
Oh, did you see was that when he botched it coming off the top rope?
No. The very, very last move of the match, where he has him on his shoulder.
Oh, on the go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Yeah. That was to me. That alone was impressive. But they did botch that, and he ended up getting busted open the hard way because of that with that Hurricane Run off the top rope. But Hobbs has only been wrestling professionally for a year.
Really?
He's still really, really great.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
all right.
But So anyway,
Justin Proper.
We got a super chat right in the last minute.
Super chat.
2 questions. Matthew, why did you shove Jude into a tiny room? How rude.
Called fridging proper.
Why was Alex disinvited to his own channel? How embarrassing. Love you all.
This is the only place I feel safe. So that's why.
And this isn't Alex's channel anymore. It's mine.
First of all, that's not true, Jude. You should tell the people. You should give yourself a shameless plug and tell the people what that room is and where they can, visit you online and hire your services.
This is where I do my voice acting.
It's also a smaller part of a much bigger room, so she's not completely engaged in there.
My dog's on the couch right there.
And Alex, unfortunately, he has to work on Saturdays, and this is why it's so important that you guys become members of the Salty Nerd Club and tell people to do so, because our goal with the club membership is to get Matt Vader and Alex where they can quit their jobs and do the podcast full time, because we're making enough off the podcast in order to support them.
Yep.
And that's really our goal with the Salty Nerd Club membership stuff, is that we want people to give us money so that we can do this full time.
That's not even too lofty of a goal, because I know people, and I kick myself in the ass because I should have done this, but I know people that kind of came up with me and they got into this podcasting thing super early, and they're not only don't have this is their job now, and they make good money, and they make enough money with the business, they have a big they literally have their own building with their own floors and their different departments, and they do everything. You know what I mean?
We have plans for the salt caves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, but so I'm just saying, people need to because sometimes when people hear that, they might scoff and be like, "Oh, well, I got to work." I'm like, dude, no, we're providing a service, and we want to get there. This first goal is I feel is not that lofty, and I know you guys have the bigger picture in mind, but it's baby steps. People.
And this is actually, we all consider this that this is our job, and we spend a lot of time doing it throughout the week. We just don't get paid for it yet. So that's ultimately the goal. Yeah. And actually, I got to hang out with Alex last night. After work, he came over to my buddy Tom's house, and we had a shitty movie night. We had some drinks and some Indian food. It was really fun.
Yeah, and basically, if Vader and Alex were able to quit their day jobs and focus on the podcast full time, we'd be able to do so much more. We've got so much on the board that we want to do. We just don't have the time to do it, because these guys, like Vader just said, he's like, I don't have time. And the reason for that is mostly because of his day job.
He's got a job. Look at the chat, Vader. We got everybody who says that I love wrestling in chat and wants to hear us talk about wrestling needs to go to saltynerdclub.com.
So
is that the place to pay you guys money?
I spend there's 10 hours a day I spend at work or going to.
Right. No. That's my point.
I have to watch 5 movies a week, 2 TV shows. I have a wife who needs a little bit of attention once in a while. So it's rough, man. So
no, that's my point exactly. So if you guys really want wrestling chat, because I'm not a salty nerd yet, hopefully I'm not a salty nerd, but he is, and he needs to be able to quit his job so he has more time, so we can give you the content that you want. So is it saltynerdclub.com?
Yes.
Go to saltynerdclub.com, sign up for. I need to go look it up myself. What is it, $5 a month or something?
Do it.
Yeah, it's
Justin,
that's nothing.
Justin,
Cup
thanks for
coffee.
the $5, bud.
Yeah. Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Justin.
Yeah. Tom, why don't you tell people where they can find you and what your channel's all about?
Well, of course, you can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark, and the various other channels that are associated with it. We generally cover genre entertainment, pop culture, stuff like that. Generally get into the more corporate money side of things, behind the scenes, that kind of stuff. Andre likes to call it corporate politics, I guess.
Well,
But
Tom's a good friend and a great guy, and we appreciate you coming on this Saturday live
anytime I
stream.
can.
I know Tom messaged me. He's like, "What topics are we covering today?" And we're just like,
just
So
free
porn.
flowing. Yeah, no, just free flowing.
"Oh, this is Matt Vader's live stream, so he doesn't like to structure stuff. He just likes to shoot from the hip."
I like unstructured. It's more fun to me.
Another $5 super chat from Justin Proper. Final super chat it. Nice segue to plug a somewhat serious discussion. All from a few jokes. Can't wait to see you all again. # justice for Alex.
Nice.
So, speaking of him, he does do a Monday night show now. He's just launched his own
A case of the Mondays.
A case of the Mondays. Yeah, yeah.
Where he's going to be interviewing. It's a one-on-one kind of just Joe Rogan type style of show that that's what he likes to say, where he's going to be talking to different people on Monday nights for a couple hours. So
Case of
check
the
that out.
Mondays.
Yep.
Yeah, case of the Mondays.
I believe you
He's
can get
done
the
like
shit
2 of
kicked
them.
out of you for saying something like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Alex's
We all-
favorite movie is Office Space, so that's where he got the title
Yeah,
from.
we
I
kind
love,
of all
there's
kind
also
of have. Let me talk. God damn it, Danny. We all kind of have our own thing, like Matt said, this show we're doing now was kind of our idea. So I had time on Saturday mornings to do this. Alex does Mondays. Matthew has his bad writing show on Thursdays, which is actually really good. He gets some really good people on there, and
Really good.
yeah.
Really good.
and we do our 3 shows a week. Plus, we do a ton of stuff now for our patrons only. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, let's give them a quick rundown of what they can expect from the podcast this week. So on Monday, we've got our review of Netflix's Kate, which is the Mary Elizabeth Winstead action movie.
That movie is so good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we got our spoiler-free review dropping on YouTube for everyone, but we also have our in-depth spoiler review that is for patrons only, so only members get access to that full hour. Then on Wednesday, we are doing our review for C episode 4, The Dinner Party, or 5, The Dinner Party. And we've been having a lot of fun with that show, and we've been hearing from a lot of people on the production of C that we're like the podcast everyone on the show listens to, talking about that. So that's really kind of a head trip right there.
It is weird. Yeah.
But a lot of the post-production people, like, they listen to us while they're doing their work, and they love us. And so every time we put a new episode out, we have a lot of fun.
They love us for now.
Yeah, for now.
You guys are so humble.
Yeah, so every Wednesday is kind of like our TV show focused review. And then on Friday is when we drop our S&P Weekly, which is our themed show. And this coming week is, I believe it is mythology movies. Is that correct?
Yes. Greek mythology.
Greek mythology movies with a Me Too slant to them. Yeah, Clash of the Titans.
The newer one or the old one?
The new
newer
one.
No!
So we did the Clash of the Titans remake. We did Immortals with Henry Cavill, and we also did Hercules with The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay,
so this week, what we're watching is dragon movies, and that's because our patrons picked it. And that's one of the things that comes with being a patron is every once in a while we throw the reins to you and we tell you, all right, tell us what to watch. And boy, is it rough when they do that.
My favorite dragon movie is Pete's Dragon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Aw.
The patrons
What's
did not choose that one.
What's the
unfortunately.
one with Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bell?
Rain of Fire. We are watching that one.
That is
Yeah.
that one
Actually,
is
like-
on the list.
I do like that one. That one's
Yeah.
That's
dope.
that's the
And
highlight.
then
of next week.
Dragonheart is a good one too. I think
That's another one we're watching.
Dennis,
Yeah.
is it Randy Quaid? Isn't that one?
No,
That
it's-
hasn't
it's,
aged very
Dennis.
well.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. I meant Dennis
And
Quaid. Yeah.
Sean
It's the
Connery.
sane one.
And Sean Connery is the voice of the dragon. Yeah. I love the
Keg-
score to that. It's the same guy who did the score to Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. I forget his name, but
Keg Crusher 04. I really wanted to watch Dragon Slayer, but I didn't get a vote. So
Yeah, this was patrons only. They got to pick we gave them the
I'm with
topic
you,
and they got to pick
Actually,
the movies.
I'm a patron. I should have voted.
Yeah, you should have voted.
Damn it.
damn it, I need to become a patron. I have to go to saltynerdclub.
Hey, you know what,
right?
Danny? It costs you
Salty
the same
Nerd
amount of
Co-
money. It costs you the same amount of money as a subscription to Apple Plus. So.
Right? But you want me to watch the Apple Plus?
Oh,
So saltynerdclub.com though, right?
And that reminds me that we are doing an episode by episode review just for club members of Foundation.
Mhm.
So if you're into that show, if that's a show that appeals to you, we're going to be doing our patented breakdown / recaps. And if you go on our channel and look at like the recaps we've done for like Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision, all the TV shows, you'll kind of see the style that we do that in. We go really in depth into the episode and we have a lot of fun talking about it. If it's bad and if it's good, we have a lot of fun talking about it still.
And
So,
Kaylee just asked a question that we actually answered on one of our patron-only episodes.
Yeah, what's your guys' favorite movie? Yeah, we do monthly Q&As. So people on our Discord server ask us questions, and then we record ourselves answering them and put it on the Patreon.
I got a question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you narrow down, like the question was so, like, what was the question? What's your favorite movie, period, right? Or question mark, that's it.
Mhm.
How do you narrow? I can't do that. Like,
I
can
can.
you narrow it down for me? Like, what's your favorite movie this year? What's your favorite movie
No, it's of all time.
Yeah.
of all time? Really?
That's super easy.
I really
for me.
I want to watch that then, because I need help narrowing that down, because I honestly couldn't answer that question. If
Well,
somebody
go to
asked me that.
saltynerdclub.com and you can have the answers.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard to come up with our favorite films when that question was asked.
Wow.
We got Daniel. Oh, I'm going to butcher that last name. I'm not even going to try.
Goosenger.
Daniel
Goosenger.
G. Can't wait for your coverage of Foundation. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with this show because I can already tell that opinions are going to vary on this one.
I'm coming at it from never reading the books, so I don't have that.
There's books,
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
like
Yeah.
actual books or comic books.
No.
No, like-
There's book.
Have you never heard of Foundation, Danny?
Come
No,
on,
I've
man.
never.
Isaac Asimov?
I am a ignorant fuck. That's why That's why I said earlier I was thankful you guys have me on, because after watching your Picard stream the other day, I am so not qualified to be.
So
on this show.
Isaac Asimov is
Yeah.
one of the greatest science fiction authors.
I'm
to ever
familiar.
live.
Okay.
His
I know who Isaac Asimov is. I just
okay.
never read
So,
Foundation.
his books Foundation were the basis for pretty much all modern science fiction,
Mhm.
and this is the first time they've been adapted into a visual medium. And Apple TV is once again doing stuff that all the other streaming services aren't in terms of how they're handling their original shows. And the first 2 episodes dropped this last Friday. We're going to be releasing our review of both episodes. The first episode is going to be on the main channel for everyone. And then the second episode is going to be exclusively for club members. And then going forward to the end of the season, that will be all for club members, because we're going to continue to be doing our C reviews for free. Put it out there for everyone. And it's going to be really fun. So we're looking
Yeah,
forward
and
to
if you don't have an Apple subscription, just get one. It's so worth it. The shows on there are so good.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like Netflix just pumping out a bunch of garbage for you that you don't like or doesn't make sense or you get frustrated with. Like, Apple is really putting a lot of thought into the content that they're creating and putting out for people, and it's worth the money.
And also, if you have an Apple device, I think you get a year for free, something like that.
If you have a new Apple device.
New Apple device, you get like
Yeah.
a year of Apple TV Plus for free.
Mhm.
And Nick Clark says Foundation apparently has very little connection to the books. They went their own way, and it's David Goyer, so a grain of salt. I will agree with you on the David Goyer front, but after watching the first 2 episodes, I can tell you that the DNA of the books is pretty strong in there.
So
Jude will probably disagree with me on that, but
can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just have a question. So I had to write notes because I have a couple. The Foundation books, are they on Audible? Because
Yes.
Thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I will tell you, I read listened to the first book on Audible, and the voice actor does a great job. He's very skilled, but he doesn't differentiate his voice up between the characters, so it's a little hard to follow. It's not something that you can like be doing other stuff while you're listening to.
No, so I know like this is how slow I am. I might be on the spectrum. I don't know. A lot of the times, I know this sounds terrible. A lot of the times when I listen to a book, I literally have the book and I have like this bookshelf behind me is proof of this. I'll listen to the book while I read along with it. As bad as that sounds, you know what I mean? So, so that I'm, you know, and I got like so much credit on Amazon. It's ridiculous. Like free gift cards from over the years. And I just haven't used it.
So Danny, Justin Proper says, I feel like I'm not qualified to have intellectual discussions with Kadish, yet they've had me on anyways. Few people are qualified to have intellectual.
Fair enough. But you know, Kadish, I was going to mention, I want to give you the video from when we first met. Because I was watching your the Picard writing thing that you did the other day, and you guys brought up the Star Trek movies, like the J.J. Abrams ones. And I don't know if you remember the first time we met, that came up.
Yeah, you interviewed me.
Yeah, and we were both agreeing that they were not Star Trek.
Yeah,
and you guys reiterated that. So I was thinking it would be kind of a cool like retro or throwback thing. I'll send you that video if you guys want to ever share it, because it's kind of cool because it still holds up to this day. Like you have not changed your opinion.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah, they're fun action movies.
Like Jesus, he never changes.
Yeah, right.
So Daniel G says, I found the first 2 episodes of Foundation to be really good. Some book readers are mad, but I really enjoyed it. Well, we're going to have a big discussion about that in our episode. Danny?
Thank you. I wrote this down. I'll stop after this. This question is for Jude.
Yes.
I'm challenging you. Other than C, hold up. No, because you said like, you know, it's worth it because like Apple's got a bunch of good shows. Other than Foundation and C, like, can you name me some more shows that make this worth it? Or
Mythic Quest, Servant. Servant's really weird, but I loved it. I was really invested in it. Mythic Quest is fantastic.
What are, I've never heard of it. Go ahead.
Teacher. Go ahead, B. Go ahead.
Is Servant the one with the weird baby?
Yes.
See, that's what I was going to ask you.
I couldn't do that one.
If you're going to say like something's good, can you give me just like, I don't know, like.
Well, also they've got the show called
Invasion
coming out.
Yeah.
Danny, you can just look up the trailers for all these shows.
Okay.
But Mythic Quest, there are 2 seasons of that out. That's a brilliant comedy.
Awesome
It's about a MMO company that's very thinly veiled World of Warcraft.
I'm Googling it now. Mythic.
Yeah, Mythic Quest.
I think the morning show is also on there, which I really liked. It's not for everyone.
Oh, is that the one with Lois Lane?
No, that's with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, yeah. Just okay.
Yeah,
the
and Steve
ESPN's
Carell.
been shown. Yeah, and Steve.
Oh, Ted Lasso. Yeah.
What's that called? Morning show.
The morning show, I think.
Is that and that's on Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have this weird alternate history show called For All Mankind, and it's what if the Russians beat us to the moon?
Hey,
I just really like that. I couldn't get into it.
You sold me. You guys need to get an affiliate link because you know, I'm the only reason I'm getting Apple.
Well, but the crown jewel is C. The crown jewel is really the show C.
And also, like, I go back and forth. Like, while I'm watching C, it's my favorite, and like while I'm watching Mythic Quest, it's my favorite. Like, they're both such good shows.
C's got Aquaman and Batista in it, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I've seen trailers for it, but I'm like,
God, it's so good.
I don't own a single Apple product is my problem. Like, am I still able to watch it?
Well, you have $5 a month, don't you?
No, yeah, but like, if I don't have an Apple product, can I still watch it? Like,
what do you stream through?
I have an Android television. I have a Google Pixel phone. I have
any smart TV or phone. You just download the Apple TV app. It's just like Amazon.
So it doesn't have to be an Apple product.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. See, you guys should get paid. I've learned more from you about Apple's products from you than I have from Apple.
This week on Apple TV.
Yeah, right.
Richie, we're going to be doing a season 3 recap of what we do in the shadows in about 2 weeks, I think. Once the season's over, we've been waiting. We don't have time to do an episode by episode of what we do in the shadows, but we love that show. We've done recaps of the previous 2 seasons,
and we just covered the movie that it's a spinoff of in August Bites. That came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was vampire movies. So like we're hitting all the bases. We're covering all the stuff we need to cover. Anyway, guys, we've gone on a lot longer than we had originally planned. Tom,
I'm sorry.
Connor,
Last week we
thank you
went.
so much for coming on the show today.
No
Danny, as always, thank
Love
you
to be
for
here.
being our regular on the Holmgang.
Thanks for
Matt-
letting me come in and break up the sausage fest.
Yeah, Jude, this
please,
is her first
anytime.
appearance on the Holmgang, so thank
No,
you.
I think it's my second.
Second, well,
It's your first
whatever.
with me, so that's cool.
I'll always remember my first time with you, Danny.
Oh, me too.
It's the first time she's been on since we rebooted the format.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Vader, is there anything you want to say to everyone before we sign off?
Just want to say thanks to Tom for hanging out with us today. And the chat, I think was our best crowd yet. I think we got up to like 25
30.
people, 25, 30. Was it 30? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it
cool.
was 30.
Yeah.
I hope you guys all come back next week when we have somebody else maybe on the show. Who knows?
Yeah, we're every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
And that is 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
I want to shill the Discord really quick, saltynerdiscord.com. We talk about the show in there. People can drop links if they want us to talk about something. And Tom, that goes for everybody. Come check out our Discord app. And
and you guys are in there every day on the
yeah.
Discord chatting with people.
I like the Discord.
I don't want us to sound like a what is it? The
Bunch
thing
of
where you-
thirsty bitches.
Yeah. So thanks for coming in and hanging out, guys. I really appreciate this. And we just want this stuff to grow and get bigger every little bit every week. And we have a lot of fun doing it and hanging out. So that's it.
And we really appreciate everyone who is in chat, commenting, giving us stuff to talk about, interacting with us. That's what makes the Holmgang special for us, is we get to interact with you guys. So big thank you for doing that. And as always, stay salty, my friends. Check out, if you're not subscribed already, saltynerdvideo.com. And please check out Salty Nerd Club and all the cool stuff that you get over there. And until next Saturday, my friends,